So we're going to be talking about history right here, and it is one of the world's largest religions. It is Islam. Now I'm going to be dividing this into parts. What was it before Islam? What was happening during Islam and still continuing? And what are the dynasties? Okay, number one, prehistoric times. As we know, Islam was born in Saudi Arabia. So before that, Arabia was just a really vast desert, vast desert with scattered oases. If you don't know what that means, it's just basically where there's a lot of greenery. So a desert is something very sandy, but there in very small parts, it's like just a mini jungle. And that was where society grew, because of course food and water. Now, there were different tribes of these scattered oases, and they followed very different cultures and religions and traditions of their own. But there was two things in common. That was their trading and their entertainment. I'm going to be first talking about entertainment here, because trading is a long way there. Entertainment is very funny and it's very interesting too, because it is actually poems and songs and stories written, and then you have to announce it and then entertain everyone. That was basically what main entertainment was: poetry, stories and songs. And now we come to trading, where this leads us to our first clue to Islam. Trading is something that was a very important occupation there, and one of the routes there that led to the outside world, like Arabia was connected to the outside world, Asia, India, Russia, USA. It was through that route called the incense route. And this was where every single trader and occupation people, they all went to connect with each other, share their cultures, come back to their tribe, and then share it with among, and they would make a new culture. And this is something that leads to a composite culture, basically mixed versions of one. But you might be thinking, how does this have to do with Islam? Because those tribes which followed those cultures, they had only one particular thing that was common in them: polytheism. Polytheism basically means the worship of many gods and deities. Same thing. But Islam isn't that, it's only one. So, in 570 CE, there was a boy named Muhammad, and he was born, and it was very, very divine, and he was the only founder of Islam, and later to be known as Prophet Muhammad. So when he was born, a brilliant white light just came out from his mother's chest and illuminated the surroundings on him, so it's considered divine. In 610 CE, he was just a normal trader. He used to trade, go and then come back and whatnot. But in the city of Mecca, where he was born, where everything was there, what I just told you, he was just sleeping like at the night. And then he just woke up and he got it in a dream. And that dream of one deity, his name was Allah. And we all know him today and how we have to submit to his will anyways. He told Prophet Muhammad to introduce his occurrence in this world, and how there should be a new religion that should be only followed by all Muslims and other converts. So he began preaching. And what did he preach? He preached everything that Allah told him to Islam, and how he gave him divine revelations to him. Revelations means, I guess, knowledge, because he was preaching and he gave many principles to it, and there were only 5 pillars, the only basic stuff of Islam that he preached to others. It's giving to charity, prayer, pilgrimage, fasting during the period of Ramadan. The other stories that Prophet Muhammad told to his followers was that he would be the very last prophet. There will be no other prophet after this, and that was about it. The other principles that he gave is that if you charge loan from someone, if you want loan from someone, they cannot charge interest from you. They cannot use you. That's a good thing. And there's also about brotherhood and equality. Everybody knows that. And also, there was called zakat. Zakat is basically just giving to charity again. And there was a specific time for every single prayer in those principles. It was 5 times each day in different timings, maybe in the evening, maybe in the morning, I'm not sure. And those were one of the more than one principles that were there. And now everybody was so angry about it. Everyone followed him, and there was a lot of mixed feelings with that. Someone followed him, someone became enemies with him, and so on and on. And finally, after being persecuted, which means tortured, he was compelled to leave his own birthplace by the Quraysh tribes, Qurash tribe, to Medina. Medina is the second sacred place of where Islam could really flourish. So he went with his followers known as Ummah. So then he not only became a preacher, he also became the ruler of that place. And that tribe, that group, they solidified their position. Those were one of the 2 things that they did. And now we come to something of the constitution. What happened really in Medina? This was where the first Quran, which is the holy book of the Muslims, that was compiled there through meticulously of many different people, of many different occupations, of many different religions, and they imposed one of many principles in the Quran that people should follow in Islam. So that's basically what the Quran does. And there was also a new calendar that to date Muslims still follow it. It is the lunar calendar, which is called Hijri. Oh, reminds me of something. I never told you what the journey from Mecca to Medina and both the other way was called. It was called Hijra, which is Hijrah, or Hizrat, so Hizrat. Yeah, good. After this, in 622 CE, he returned back to Mecca, which is the coming back phase. And instead of bringing a whole army with him and the whole people of Medina with him, he just simply demonstrated kindness, forgiveness to all of the tribes. And then they lived peacefully ever after, and that's how the story ends, but I'm not going there. Because since after that, the idols in the sacred place of Mecca, known as Kaaba, they were run down, and Islam statues were brought up. Islam idols were brought up, which is Allah. He's the God who we have to submit to his will. And that's how it grew. But 10 years later, Prophet Muhammad died. Like, he returned back to 620. He returned back in 632 CE, and after 2 years later, he died. Now we come to the caliphate, or caliph, or khalifa. Basically, when he died, the question of leadership arose. Now, who's going to lead? Who's going to follow and take the path where Prophet Muhammad took and continue his legacy? And this gave birth to the caliphate. Basically, a whole community of caliphs or khalifas that were supposed to rule that country, both Mecca and Medina. And it started with the selection of his close kinsman and cousin Abu Bakr. And well, he assumed all of the benefits that came with it and all the rules that he had to follow. I have not told you the whole meaning of Islam and how did it spread. Because one, I'll remind you, one is the Quran, just because of people who saw how great the Quran was, they just came into converts. Another was the emphasis on certain principles. Another was missionaries. Another was warfare. Another was through peacefully and through teachings. And those are one of the many things of how they spread Islam. I come to the dynasties here. The Umayyad and the Abbasid dynasty. Now I start with the Umayyad dynasty, the first dynasty, which was 661 CE to 750 CE. Now they established their capital in Damascus, and they established a really big, rigid authority on the people of that dynasty, how they should follow the religion, and very good administration. However, internally they faced a lot of conflicts, a lot of economic problems, and eventually leading to their downfall. The Abbasid dynasty had sort of a decline, sort of like that, but now I come to this. It is from 750 CE to 1258 CE. Now this was a it was flourishing, 10 times flourishing than Medina. Now what they did is, it's known as the Abbasid Golden Age, where they fostered intellectual, administrative, cultural, religion, architecture, farming, and a lot of scholars that came from diverse countries tried to decrypt what was written in all of those ancient tombs and all of the ancient relics. That is the Abbasid Golden Age. However, in a weakened state, they were just facing internal conflicts. They were being constantly attacked by the Seljuks in Persia and the Fatimids in Egypt. And finally, they were defeated by the Mongols in their decline. So that is the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed, and there's no place to run.